Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Game Over Winnipeg. My name is Lyss. I'm one of your hosts. I'm joined by my friend Micah today, and we're here to break down a Winnipeg Jets win. Micah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's nice to see the Jets win back on top of the Central. I feel like that was the first normal Jets game we've had in a while, so it's always a bit nice to see that.
Yeah, definitely. If you can go look on Money Puck and, the team that's supposedly, like you said, top of the Central is actually, winning and outplaying the other team, feels good. Feels nice. So Mike
100%.
and I are gonna break down the 3-1 win over the Chicago Blackhawks today. Pick a couple of storylines that we want to chat about, and kind of go from there. I want to start with before the game even started. Logan Stanley back from injury last game, and in he comes for a back-to-back game after coming off of a rough injury. Thoughts on that off the bat?
You know what? It's good to see him back in the lineup. It was good to see him get an assist last game. Sucked seeing him going to the boards in the beginning of the first in this game. I sound like Kevin Sawyer right now, but he missed 18 games due to an injury, and then your second game back, it looks like you suffer an even worse injury. I do see eye to eye with him on a lot of things, with Logan Stanley on a lot of things, so I feel for him. I hope he has a speedy recovery. I'm excited to see who the Jets kind of plug into that spot, though. Do you think we see an Oiler coming back up? Will it be Sandberg?
Come
Who
on,
knows?
come on. Who do you think the Winnipeg Jets are? It's going to be Dylan Sandberg for sure. And I personally would have started Dylan Sandberg tonight, I think, regardless.
Yeah.
Obviously that injury is unfortunate. It happens. It is what it is. But, when you have a player coming off of an injury like that and you have a very viable seventh defenseman who's been playing pretty well and just got the short end of the stick and being pulled out of the lineup, thought it was a weird decision to play Logan Stanley tonight. And, yeah, like you said, took a tumble into the boards. Also, for those of you who didn't catch Micah's joke about seeing eye to eye with Logan Stanley, Micah, how tall are you?
I'm 6'7", same height as Logan Stanley.
I one time Mike and I went to a baseball game together and we didn't arrive together, so we're like, "Hey, where are you? Where are you?" We're looking around and I find Micah and he's standing like by the wall at the Gold Stadium, and I go and I like tap him on the shoulder or like on the arm or something like that, and he just looks right over my head. I was like, "Well, okay." I wonder what life is like from that perspective. Like you said, Logan Stanley would know. And too bad dude took a tumble, and we hope he's doing okay.
100%. I wish nothing but the best for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess he came back out right for a shift after he took that initial spill and then went back in, and I like my first thought, and I know it's not really comparable, it's a bit different. But you remember when Nikolai Ehlers first got hurt and he went out for practice and he's like, "Ooh, actually no, never mind." And then he found out he had like a sports hernia, and it's like, oh my goodness. It always scares me when they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll come out, I'll try it again," and then they're like, "Ooh, no, I don't think so," and
Mm-hmm.
then it ends up being like not a great injury. So fingers crossed that it's nothing too serious.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it even the same with the Brian Little injury? Like when he got that Nick Ehlers slap shot to the head. Like didn't he come back from injury either that game or the game before? And then that seemed to end his career.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. That dude had some such rough injury luck at the end of his career. I wouldn't be surprised, which is definitely too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought there were a couple things that were pretty good in this game. Particularly, I thought that their puck movement and their cycling in deep was a lot better than I've seen in previous games. And obviously, we can say maybe it's because they were playing against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are, what are they, 28th in the league or something like that, right? Not the best team in the NHL, but I thought that the puck movement at 5-on-5 was a lot better in deep, and I thought it led to a lot more chances, which leads to more goals and all that kind of stuff. So, would you agree with that, or are you kind of on a similar page on that?
You know what? Honestly, I think going into this game, I thought we might have actually lost because I think any game that Dave Riddick starts is a giant question mark. I was in the arena last Friday when we played the Blue Jackets and we got played out of our own. We got played over our own arena. I thought it was weird. Starting to have to jump back a week. I thought it was weird to start David Riddick at home on a Friday night, especially against Line 8. And then when David Riddick, it's not like I miss the days when we had Laurent Brossoit and we actually had a decent backup goalie, and it feels like, or even with Connery last year, where there's points where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if Hellebuck takes a night off. Like I feel like when we don't have Hellebuck, it's just we might as well just play with 6 skaters at some points.
No, absolutely, I agree, and I think that, like you said, is always a big question mark. And I thought that, all things considered, Dave Riddick wasn't that bad tonight, so I was happy about that. But it's, he's had worse games, he's had worse showings out there. But I thought that generally speaking, the Jets also did a decent job of kind of pushing out some of the better shots from in tight there, which led to making things a bit easier on him too. But I thought that he was okay tonight. And again, this is probably the team that you want to start him against. And I would say that the Columbus Blue Jackets are maybe a team you want to start him against too. But like you said, home game, Friday night, Patrick Laine back from injury, one of the best, shooters, goal scorers in the league at present. Interesting call.
Yeah. Yes, Justin, I can't skate. So the Jets will not sign me.
Hey, you know what? I don't know sometimes if, the Jansen Harkins and Brandon Tanevs of the world can skate either. So, you know what? Maybe that's not what it takes. But,
what Jansen Harkins can do? He can pass, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness gracious. That third goal of the night tonight, good for Lowry. Very happy for him. But it started right with that nice forecheck from Jansen Harkins. Lots of nice pressure there. And he had a pass from back kind of behind in the corner there. He threaded it through like 4 defenders in the Blackhawks. And I was like, wow, what a nice pass.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
He did another one.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. I already saw a bunch of memes about it on Twitter, but everyone's just saying that every time Jansen Harkins gets scratched and comes back into the lineup, he just puts up these like monstrous games. So I don't know if we just alternate games with Jansen Harkins in the lineup, and hopefully we win every second game. I don't know if that's I'm not the head coach, but if it keeps becoming this phenomena where he just has a flu game, he has a Michael Jordan flu game every single time he comes back into the lineup, might as well.
No, honestly, and I think, like you said, it works out that he gets slotted in for someone else, and it happened to be an injury this time, not a scratch, but he got bumped up to the third line, which I think was probably good for him. I don't mind that trio of him, Lowry, and Barron. I've made it clear before on the show that I do like Lowry and Barron together. I think that that's what the third line should look like right now, and I actually don't mind Jansen Harkins as a third for them.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm really looking forward. I see some comments are talking about wingers who can score. I'm really looking forward to next year when hopefully Brad Lambert and Chaz Lucius and maybe even Rucker McGrody try to enter the lineup. I think that will give us a lot of speedy young winger depth. Rucker McGrody is not speedy, but he has a very good shot. I don't know if they play him as center, but I'm very happy with this year, but I'm really looking forward to next year as well. And not to say that this season is a write-off, but because it's anything but it's like we're performing so well, and I don't even think we have some of our better players in the lineup. That's very entertaining.
No, for sure. And I think even going into this year, like that's a lot of people were probably in a similar boat where they're like, the future's looking fine. We'll just ride it out for now. But like you said, they're doing better than riding it out. Like, are they actually top of the Central again now? Is that what this win does for them?
I think so. Did the Avalanche win?
No idea. Zero clue. I'm going to guess probably not based on whatever the hell that lineup is that they're throwing out there. But I don't actually know that. But I haven't checked any out-of-town box scores for tonight. But either way, like you said, not a write-off of a season by any means or anything like that. So definitely a lot of excitement for the future, but also a lot of excitement for now. And it's nice to see guys who are currently in the lineup, making the most of their roles, like the Jansen Harkins of the world and stuff like that. Because like you said, if you don't have a scoring winger ready to go right now, someone like Mikey Eyssimont is chilling in the top 6 because you don't have a ton of other options and things like that. It's nice to know that the future's not bare in that area. You have some guys coming up the pipe.
Yeah. I was actually surprised we didn't put a claim on Svechnikov, but, especially seeing the chemistry we saw last year, but who knows?
I would have loved to have seen them put in a claim. I wasn't surprised, though. I figured after they didn't sign him on a QO that they wouldn't bring him back. Did you think they were going to?
No, but you can always hope. You don't know if it becomes a Nate Bolio situation or a Lucas Spiza situation or an Anthony Potato situation where we just get addicted to waiver wire pickups and we just pick them up over and over again. But
no, literally. But I mean, I'd much prefer picking that guy up over and over again over a Lucas Spiza. Oof, no, thank you. But like, I would love to have brought him back and slot him in with Dubois and Connor on that line there. But I thought Mikey Eyssimont had a pretty good game. Any thoughts on him?
I thought he had a pretty good game too. I'm wondering about sustainability in the future. I think there's a reason why he's been in the AHL for this long. He's never been he's never been a highly touted prospect for the Jets. I think he's a good plug and play guy right now, but I'm not entirely sold on him.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'm kind of on the same boat. Like, I know a lot of people are really high on him, and I don't hate that. Like, you like to see your own guys do well and that kind of stuff. But like you said, sustainably, I don't know if that's the right long-term fit there. But I thought tonight he had a pretty good showing. Like, I thought he had a lot of really positive touches on the puck. And, you're never by yourself out there. So he was playing with some decent line mates, so that always helps. But I thought, from an individual standpoint, he had some nice touches today.
Agreed.
I'm like choking on air. Holy.
Yeah, there's some weird sinus bugs going around right now. You can probably even hear it in my voice, but it's nuts.
Whew, I don't even know what that is. I don't need water on me, but what about your thoughts on... Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
On the Jack Johnson thing with Mikey Eyssimont?
That was such a weird play. It was one of those times I looked down at my phone and I looked up and there was just like a bunch of things happening. I saw afterwards somebody said that Eyssimont was being a little bit dirty and might have punched after the whistle. I think we've kind of, I don't know if that's true or not. I can't confirm that, but I think we've kind of moved past this way where guys try to put themselves in the lineup by playing with a little edge on them. To me, at least, we know we need a scoring winger. We don't necessarily need a gritty winger, or we don't necessarily need Ryan Reeves on our team. So that's why it seems a little bit silly to do that. But I don't know what Rick Bowness values when he's making these roster decisions. If he thinks we need a little bit of grit, maybe we do. I hate using the word grit, but you know what? We might as well just trade for Brandon Lemieux again.
Tomato. Yeah, I think Eyssimont did like punch him in the back of the head kind of thing, but like before that sequence even happened, Mikey Eyssimont had already drawn a penalty, like Jack Johnson, on Jack Johnson, because they'd been like kind of like scrapping in front of the net, so they fell, and Mikey Eyssimont like did like hit him, I think, and he knocked him over, and then they both fell, and then Mikey Eyssimont was on the ice, and Jack Johnson's like, yes, time for some attempted murder, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this is not good. But this is a random aside. When fully healthy, I think the Blackhawks have 3 guys named Johnson on their team.
Really?
Because, I forgot that Tyler Johnson was hurt. Because they have Tyler Johnson. They have Jack Johnson.
I know they have 2
Johnson,
Jones.
the guy who tried to kill Dylan
Joneses. Are they just collecting? They have 2 Joneses. Are they just collecting players with more or less? Yeah. So, are they going to trade for Evander Kane and Devin Taves?
Who are some other ones? I'm trying to think. They could collect them all. And then they can get both the Elias Petterssons, and then they'll just have the full Infinity Stones.
Yeah, and then you just make all the color commentators' lives hell.
Oh my goodness, it's like, there was a World Cup. What's the team that has the guys with all the same last name?
South Korea.
Yeah, there you go. Same thing.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Jets' power play tonight?
I thought it was good. I'm still stuck in 2019 where we have one of the best shooters in the league, and we can just kind of pass the puck to him and have him finish. I do think we are missing some finishing on our power play. That can be seen with we started off 50%, and then I think we fell right off from that, like in this game.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, and I know that's a cliche answer, but it's just like Kyle Connor obviously is having a regret, like he's regressed from last season. Hopefully he can find some magic stick. Thank you. My cat is nice. Her name is Peggy. Sorry, I just got distracted by a comment in the chat.
Fair. We like Mike's cat. She's kind of
Yeah,
a demon sometimes, but
I took her to the vet today. She's 1 pound clear from being medically classified obese, so that is a win. I thought she was going to be obese, but
hey, there you go.
anyway, um, yeah, I don't think we have a bad power play, but at the same time, I don't think we have a good power play either. And that's like when sure we're top of the Central, we're first in the West with by points percentage, but I think we're going to find at least in some point of the season that the wind is going to come out of our sails, so to speak. And Connor Hellebuyck can't do everything, and Connor Hellebuyck can't skate to the left, the top left circle, and just clap bombs. So
No, absolutely. Yeah, and I think like from my perspective, at least in the power play, like you say, like, they don't have that guaranteed goal from one person's particular shot anymore, like they did with Line A, and I definitely get that. And like you said, Kyle Connor is not having as successful of a scoring season as of right now. Like obviously he's picking it up a little bit, but I think not having that weapon has added a little bit of space for some extra movement, some extra creativity, different things like that. I just feel like it's not fully there yet. Like I feel like they're not doing a great job of executing it. Like when you watch them in enough games, you pick up on their set plays a little bit, right? When Josh Morrissey fakes the shot and then pushes it down to either Kyle Connor or Blake Wheeler at the bottom on the goal line, who one taps it up to Pierre-Luc Dubois to try and get that. We've seen the similar plays being run a few times, and it's starting to get a little bit predictable, like Justin says in the chat.
Yeah. But honestly, you mentioned Josh Morrissey. How happy are we for him to actually start living up to that contract? And this is a great season. This was a great game. He had 2 assists, and it's just so nice seeing him hitting his stride again, because obviously he signed that contract. There's COVID, and he kind of took that dip, but it's so good to see him coming back to where he was.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's a kind of thing where again, I am such a pessimist when it comes to this stupid hockey team. Like, it's just nuts. And, at the beginning of the season, Josh Morrissey's on fire, and I was like, maybe this is not sustainable. And, he made me eat my words for sure. I was like, I don't know if that's going to, continue, but he's done nothing but look amazing in this entire year so far. And I thought he looked good again tonight for sure.
Yeah, it'll be. I can see him becoming nominated for a Norris if he continues at this pace. I
think
I don't see him winning it, but I can see him being nominated for one.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the Norris is again one of those kinds of trophies where it's like in a couple years, like the voters are gonna get tired of voting for Cale Makar because he's gonna win it every single year, sort of thing. Like, so I feel like people. The award voters, like whether it's right or wrong, it's similar to the Hart discourse. It's like, what is the Hart? Is it the best players and the most valuable in that season? We know that whole shebang. But sorry, I digress. Back to my point. I think the voters are going to take notice of people who are having emergent seasons, and someone like Josh Morrissey is having just a night and day Tage Thompson-esque, arc and build up. That's just fantastic, and everyone's here for it.
Yeah, and same thing's happening with Blake Wheeler. Coming into the season, we didn't even think he was going to be on the roster. We thought he'd be traded to another team, and he's just I don't know how heavy that C was on his chest, but taking it off, it's kind of just reinvigorated him. He's a phoenix rising from the ashes. But as Justin's pointing out in the chat, if they shut down Wheeler on the power play, there's no point. Might as well just go send another man back to the box.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's looked, invigorated this year, for sure, brought back to life in some capacity. And I think part of that comes from the line that he's playing with right now. They all look really good. A reinvigorated Mark Scheifele has really helped. And, we talked about Josh Morrissey may actually get a Norris nom this year. Do you know who else may get a proper nom for their award this year? Is someone Cole Perfetti. I could see him, if he continues at this pace, getting a Calder nomination. I think he deserves it. I don't think I've seen enough love for the Perfetti Calder race so far. Obviously, Matty Beniers is a surefire favorite for a lot of people, just with what's going on in Seattle, of course. But, am I crazy for thinking that Cole Perfetti deserves at least some love there?
I think, last time I checked, Cole Perfetti was third in odds for winning the Calder. I don't think he has that pedigree that Beniers has in Seattle, where he's the clear favorite coming into the season. But was it 3 games ago? He had that nasty toe drag assist. It's just like you watch him; he's just absolutely filthy. And I'm so looking forward to like not to be like not to bring it back to not to look at like not to bring it back to Brad Lambert, but you have Brad Lambert's speed, you have Perfetti's pass, and it's going to be a 1-2 punch that you're not going to be able to stop. And I'm getting myself worked up thinking about it.
No, absolutely. I remember last year it was like Christmas. It was like 3 days after they put Dubois and Kyle Connor together, and I went out and I made a TikTok, and I was like, guys, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. But
Mm-hmm.
do you think that Connor, Dubois, and Perfetti could be the best line in the NHL for the next 10 years? Like, there's so
I
much
wouldn't say
there.
10 years. I wouldn't say 10 years. You could say 3 though.
No, like,
Someone in the chat just said that Logan Stanley's out for the season. Is that confirmed?
he says broken ankle and heart, so I don't know if that's if that's if that were to be the case, though, I would feel very sad for Logan Stanley. But I trust his ability to. He'll come back from this, whatever it is. Hopefully we get an injury update sometime soon, and then the Jets can kind of go from there. The worst is not knowing with players, but, you know, if you find out that someone like, you know, a Nikolai Ehlers is out for an extended period of time, then you can make adjustments as you need to and go from there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's kidding, so we're good.
Is he kidding? No, but I've seen a lot of online doctors try to diagnose that injury. But the amount of pain he was in, he couldn't put any weight on it going into the tunnel. I don't know if you saw that clip of Rick Bowness. Like, it looked like Bowness was like shaken up.
Yeah.
Watching.
I hate it when that happens, when, you know, there's a player that like starts like to bleed or something and the players on the bench can't even look at him or anything. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think there's Cole Perfetti's goal tonight. Thoughts on that? That was pretty sweet.
It was pretty sweet. And, you know, he's coming into his own. And I can honestly see, sure, Mark Scheifele's moving into the contract year. I think Mark Scheifele signs Winnipeg long term. I can easily see Perfetti moving into the number 2 role on the Winnipeg Jets. Sure, we're using him as a winger right now. We still have PLD. PLD's a question mark long term. I can see Cole Perfetti coming and becoming our number 2 center and locking on till he's 27 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be willing to bet on that. You think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. You like that segue? I'm getting better at these. It was kind of awkward.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I would have personally done that after I talked about Cole Perfetti Calder odds, but you know what? That was a pretty good one still.
Thank you. I do my best out here. But yeah, Brady says in the chat he can't believe that Stanley came back and tried to play a shift, and I agree. Like, I understand, like, you know, especially when you've come back from an injury, like, you don't want to sit out for any longer than you already have to. But you know, I feel for the guy. I really do, and I hope it's nothing serious.
Yeah. I hope it's nothing serious, but again, from the looks of it, like, I don't know. I think it's going to be at least a couple of weeks. It's going to be week to week.
Yeah, I'm not good at you know, like you said, the online diagnosing. I don't think I have any qualifications for that, but the only silver lining I would say is that sometimes, like, the things that have that initial, like, ouch, pain, whatever, don't end up being the ones that are the worst. Like, you know, when you know, someone starts bleeding all over the place, but they actually just need a stitch and they're good to go. But sometimes the really bad ones that sideline you for weeks at a time are the ones that kind of develop over the course of a few games, sort of thing. So maybe it's just like really bad to start, you know, something's really swollen, something's really hurting, and just some pressure off of that foot, that leg, that ankle. I don't even know what it was. Maybe he'll be okay.
It was his ankle.
Yeah, I don't know. But that kind of wraps up the majority of my thoughts for the game. Like I said, kind of some big takeaways where I thought that the Jets had some better movement down low, and I also thought that they created some more shots in front of the net, which is what I like. You know, the Blake Wheeler, Josh Morrissey goal, I believe it went to Blake Wheeler, right? He got that tip in front, and Seth Jones was there, and guess what he didn't do? Tie up the player's stick, which is like the number one rule, and I get so mad when the Jets do an awful job of that. And you know, when you have those dangerous players in front, it's really important to make sure you're tying up their sticks if you're the defensive team, or if you're the offensive team that you're getting open. And Blake Wheeler was able to get some space, and guess what? Puck goes in the net.
Yeah, 100%. Only thought I have remaining is it's so nice to see us doing so well this season, but it also just hits me with this like little pain in my heart because it's like we have basically the same roster we had the last couple of years, yet those teams under Paul Maurice stunk. So it just makes me hurt even more thinking it's like what could have been, what could have been if we made this coaching change earlier. But
okay, how long do you think will it take for us to stop bringing up Paul Maurice and like every like whether it's like conversation about the team or like post game show about the team? Like I find myself talking about Andre Pavlik like very often, and the dude hasn't been on the team for years. Genuinely, when do you think we'll stop talking about Paul Maurice? For me, I give myself 7 to 8 years. That's my conservative estimate for myself.
You know what? Like I'm trying to think. I'm not even trying to think of years. I'm trying to think of what event in the team could cause me to stop thinking about Paul Maurice. Like even if we win a Stanley Cup this year, we're still gonna be like look what we did once we fired Paul Maurice, and it's like I don't know what would actually change, but I remember I was student teaching the day that Paul Maurice resigned or was fired, and some of the kids I was teaching grade 10 because they're 15. I said Paul Maurice was fired, and it was almost like 9/11 for them because since they were 5, Paul Maurice has been the head coach of the Jets for like 10 years. And it's just nuts. It's just nuts to think about all these kids grew up with Paul Maurice as the head coach of the Jets. And then now it's gone, right? The one constant in their life, death, taxes, Paul Maurice. And now it's kaput. So I think it'll take some time for us to recover from that.
When when Paul Maurice was hired, I think I was just getting like my babysitting license. Like it's definitely all you've known. I remember I met Claude Noel like once at like a development camp, and yeah, my parents drove me there, and I probably didn't even have a debit card. Like
I don't even remember Claude Noel. Like honestly, it's just when you think about Jets 2.0 right now, you think about Paul Maurice, and it's just like it's nuts.
Absolutely. But thank you so much, everyone, for jumping in on the chat and having fun with us this evening. Micah, thank you for joining me. For those of you in the chat, thank you again. Like the stream, make sure you're subscribed and you're checking us out on Twitter and you're checking us out on all the different social media platforms that SDPN has. Looking forward to breaking down the Jets game again with you guys on Sunday. Boys get a day off tomorrow, coming off a back-to-back, so 3 games in, 4 days or whatever. It's a lot, so we'll see how they fare against the Caps on Sunday.
Hey,
awesome. Take care.
Thank you for having me.